Good afternoon. I'm Sandra Peart, Dean of the Jepson School of Leadership Studies, and it's my great pleasure to welcome you to Finale, the event that bookends our admission program that took place about 2.5 years ago, called Prelude. Time has flown by. At this ceremony, we recognize the many wonderful achievements of our graduating class, and we extend to all of you our congratulations and our very best wishes for a bright future. About 530 of you registered for today's ceremony, making this one of our largest finales ever. Welcome to all of our soon-to-be graduates and to the family members and friends who are joining us today. We're especially pleased to welcome our 2016-17 Leader in Residence, Dr. Kenneth Ruscio, who joined us today and will speak to you later in the program. Please join me in thanking our professors who have inspired you during the last 4 years at the University of Richmond and the Jepson School of Leadership Studies, and the excellent staff at the Jepson School who put together a wonderful event for you today. I'd like to ask our faculty and staff to stand and be recognized. You will not find a finer assortment of professors and staff anywhere at this university or elsewhere. Parents, siblings, grandparents, aunts, uncles, friends of our soon-to-be graduates, please know that we appreciate all that you've done to support your students who are here today. Jepson students, I can still call you that for one more day. Congratulations. This is the largest Jepson School graduating class that we've ever had, with 79 majors and 10 minors. By way of comparison, we had 37 Jepson majors and 18 minors in 2008. So that's more than a 100% increase over that decade. You've served on Honor Council as RAs, you've worked at New Student Orientation, and as tour guides. We always love it when our students are tour guides because they bring us more students. You were president of Richmond College Student Government Association and Panhellenic Council and founding members of UR's Roosevelt Institute chapter. You are the candlelight ceremony and the commencement speakers this year. 4 of you were members of the Jepson School Ethics Bowl team. 1 of you is designing and implementing a 6-week capacity building and technical training program for women in Bolivia with the aid of a 10,000 Davis Project for Peace grant. You are varsity and club athletes. And you're now heading to positions at organizations where you completed your Jepson credit-bearing internships, including Maximus, Altria, Tri-Coastal Design, Booz Allen, the Advisory Board, Vanguard, Bonfire Funds, Inc., the Republican Party of Virginia, Vanderventel Black. Others of you will serve as ESL teachers in Peru, in the Peace Corps. Some of you will be in Lesotho, Africa. You will go on to postgraduate studies in law at Georgetown and the University of Tennessee, and postcollegiate internships at Unbound RVA. You will join over 1,000 extraordinary Jepson alumni who live in many states and countries. Whatever you do in the future, we know that you will be ethical leaders who have the energy, the desire, and the education to make the world a better place. Please know that you're always welcome at Jepson. Come to lecturers, send us news, and please know that we're so very proud of you. We'd like to share this video now so that you and your family members can have spend some time reflecting on the last 2.5 years.
I thought to myself, this is where I want to be. And it is where I want to be. I love it here. And thanks to Jepson, I have a whole different worldview and outlook, and will be a teacher soon.
Just knowing that it was the first school of leadership in the nation made me very curious about wanting to learn more. I knew that I wanted to study history and psychology and philosophy, and I think that the lens of leadership studies really elevated my studies in all of those dimensions. I had no idea what I wanted to major in my sophomore year, and I took my first Jepson class, and I just knew that this was the place for me.
I chose Jepson because it seemed like a fun challenge, and it was a challenge, but it did end up being fun.
Being a Jepson student, you not only get to work with the best faculty in the world, but the lessons they teach you go into every aspect of your life and not only make you a better student and a better leader, but a better person.
Here at Richmond, the leadership school is basically the pinnacle of the liberal arts in that it not only brings together so many different disciplines, but it also connects them.
I knew that I wanted to study psychology, and I was looking for something to complement that, and so I thought that Jepson would be a really great way to kind of round out my interests and expand my knowledge a little bit more in areas not specifically related to psychology.
I chose Jepson because I wanted to understand how to influence other people.
To me, it seemed very empowering and progressive.
And it was something I was already interested in, so I said, gotta go for it.
I chose Jepson because I believe that it will give me the skills to be versatile and do whatever I want to do after graduation.
I chose Jepson because it really teaches students how to think critically.
The reason Joseph and I joined Jepson was taking a leadership and social sciences class with Dr. Christopher Von Ruden freshman year, which really opened our eyes to the curriculum that you could explore in this school.
Yeah, that was a really amazing experience because we were able to develop close personal connections with Dr. Von Ruden, and we've stayed in contact since. I'm post-graduation going to be working with Dr. Von Ruden in the Amazon, get to see some of his work, and I know Bob stayed in contact with him as well.
I think the biggest idea that I'll take away from Jepson, while I've learned a lot, the most important thing to me is new relationships with both students and faculty.
Just learning to be more compassionate and empathetic.
An effective leader is somebody who can be unselfish.
I have a better understanding today about how deeply rooted many of today's social issues are, and a greater sense of responsibility moving forward.
The importance of empathy and putting ourselves in other people's shoes to effect positive change.
Critical thinking with Dr. Chula really imbued in me the skills of reading, writing, and thinking well, and I can't wait to take those skills with me to law school in the fall.
Going outside into the community and doing a police ride-along, doing the food stamp challenge, and volunteering and doing an extracurricular activity.
I've really learned how to evaluate a problem from a variety of perspectives.
Everyone's going to come to life with a different opinion and a different perspective.
Leaders must complement their followers' personalities and really tailor their style to the situation that they're dealing with.
There's no set formula for how to be a good leader.
Through Jepson, I've learned that it's not only important to be aware of global social injustices, but also to seek them out actively in your own community, because that's where activism begins.
I interned in the White House internship program under the Obama administration. Obviously, it was such an amazing and unique experience, something that I never thought I would be able to be a part of, and Jepson definitely brought me there.
I interned at the Arlington Juvenile and Domestic Relations Court.
I interned at Mass Challenge in Boston.
I interned at Frank PR, which is a New York City-based PR firm that focuses on the entertainment industry.
I interned for Credit Suisse in their New York office in their Human Resources, Communications, and Branding division, and I'll be returning there full-time after graduation this spring.
So this past summer I took part in an internship in Melbourne, Australia for a company called Galactic Distribution.
I interned at Discovery Channel in Los Angeles, and I really learned a lot about group dynamics and how you have to trust and really respect the opinions of the people you work with.
For my Jepson internship, I was a known scholar at the Library Company in Philadelphia, where I researched early African American history.
This past summer, I interned at Madison Square Garden doing media planning.
I interned at Genworth Financial here in Richmond, and I was a project management intern in their long-term care division.
I interned at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in pediatrics, and it really taught me that in high-stress situations, leadership is never what you expect it to be. Sometimes it comes from someone you don't expect, and sometimes it comes from yourself, and you kind of just have to go with it and hope it sticks.
This past summer, I worked with IT for Causes here in Richmond as a business development intern.
I interned in Cape Town, South Africa for an NGO called Police Abafazi, helping women and children against violence.
I interned for the International Justice Mission, which is the largest human trafficking nonprofit organization worldwide, and it is headquartered in Washington, D.C.
I was a regulatory risk advisory intern at KPMG in New York City.
I interned at the local government management agency in Dublin, Ireland,
And before I applied for the job, it never crossed my mind that I don't know anything about Irish politics. So I think the thing that I learned about leaders was that leadership is not just a competition, it's not just a struggle for power, it's a learning process. And often the best leaders are those who have taken the time to learn the most.
I'm currently doing my Jepson honors thesis on the gender wage gap in for-profits versus in non-profits, and so far I found that the gender wage gap is actually bigger in non-profits than it is in for-profits, and I want to know why.
My research involved investigating how different people of different socioeconomic backgrounds reacted to traditional leadership differently.
My final thesis performance will be in April, and I'm comparing Shakespeare's Macbeth using his classical text with the historical figure of King Macbeth, which is very different. And the performance is including aerial silks.
We're in a directed study with Dr. Kristen Bazal where we look at African Americans in cinema, and my portion is looking at how African Americans have moved from being villains in film to heroes.
And I'm looking at the evolution of interracial relationships and how that's changed over time. So recently we've watched the Star Trek episode with the first interracial kiss.
I've been lucky enough to be conducting research with Dr. Hoyt and Dr. Allison in the psychology department on heroes, leaders, and gender.
I looked at satirical news, specifically the leadership potential.
So I'm going to look at honor codes and take a look at all of the different practices that are out there.
We're looking at whether or not consumer knowledge of negative campaigns such as commercials actually affects their consumer behaviors.
My independent study is a partnership with the University of Richmond and the Chamber of Commerce to get students into the city.
My research is about the intersection of communication and leadership.
I've conducted research on topics such as mindsets and wealth inequality. And I'm just so grateful to Dr. Hoyt and to Jepson for providing me with so many research opportunities.
After graduation, I'm hoping to pursue becoming a reporter for a magazine, and because of my double major with Jepson and journalism, I've been able to learn some problem-solving skills that have been really crucial to my work at the Collegian and in my internships at the New York Observer and Harper's Bazaar.
I had a great internship in marketing and retail this past summer in New York, and I'm hoping to continue down that path after graduation.
After Jepson, I plan on working for a government consulting firm in DC.
I'm hoping to go into the field of creative advertising.
I will be working in human resources at a government agency.
I'm not really sure what exactly I'm going to do after graduation. I really want to work in California.
After graduation, I hope to get a PhD in clinical psychology.
I'm looking for a job in the financial industry. I actually have a hedge fund job lined up.
So I'll be working as a strategy and operations analyst at Deloitte Federal Consulting in Washington, D.C.
I will be working in Baltimore at Stanley Black & Decker in the Leadership Development Program as an HR generalist. And the way that Jepson really helped me get that job is that was actually my internship.
So I'm going into the medical field after graduation, and this wasn't something that I originally planned on doing when I started my Jepson major. However, I firmly believe that if I had chosen any other major, that I wouldn't have figured out that the medical field was for me.
If I could sum up my Jepson education in one word, I would probably choose enlightening.
Individualized.
Eye-opening. Inspiring.
Invigorating.
Worthwhile.
Insightful.
Life-changing.
Unique.
One word, that's so hard.
One word.
Kind of hard.
I guess if I had to pick one word, I would go with diverse.
Challenging. Engaging.
Eclectic.
Captivating.
Integrative.
Hardworking.
Excited.
Thought-provoking.
Fun. Empowering.
Community.
Wonderful.
All-encompassing.
Dynamic.
Confidence building.
Self-directed.
Spontaneous.
Nuanced.
I want to say something about writing papers, but
Collaboration.
Innovative.
Enriching.
Kind of like a family, because everybody just kind of loves everybody, and they're so ready to support you whenever you need something, whether it's academic or non-academic. They're always there for you.
Well, that's a hard act to follow. So
everyone should know, we actually filmed that back in February when the students were taking their composite photos. So since then, many students have developed all sorts of plans for after commencement. So when we're at the reception later, you can ask all of those that you saw up here what their plans are, because many of them have, they're a little bit more solidified now. My name is Kirsten Soderlund. I'm one of the associate deans here at the Jepson School, and I have the good fortune to work with our students in a variety of different capacities. I advise the Student Government Association. I work with our Jepson Corps, which is our sort of ambassador, emissary group who represents the school. But then I also want to recognize some other students that I haven't necessarily worked with a great deal today, including the 4 students that Dean Peart talked about in terms of being part of our Ethics Bowl team this year. And I also want to recognize a very special group who has come together for a one-time performance this afternoon at our finale, a group of our students who are members of various a cappella groups here on campus. So we would like to thank all of the following students for their service in a variety of different ways. So what I'm going to do, and I have warned them all of this, is I'm going to ask them to come up on the stage. I'm going to have them come up here on the other side. And when they come up, Stephanie Trent is up here. She is one of our wonderful staff and my partner in crime, and she has a bag of swag for you. And I'm going to ask you to come all the way over because we have a long lineup of you. So if I could, I'd like to ask folks to hold their applause until we have the whole gang up here, and then we can recognize them all at once. So we'll start with Molly Aronson. Molly, who was a member of student government. So Molly, come on up. Sarah Abel, who was a member of our Ethics Bowl team. Tracy Akers, who is a member of our Jepson Student Government Association. Andrew Beck, who has been a multiple-year member of our Jepson Student Government Association. Liang Yung Cheng, who's been a member of Jepson Corps, a multiple-year member. Chelsea Davidson, who's been a multiple-year member of Jepson Student Government and is the current Student Government President. Ryan Foster, who is one of our fabulous finale singers for today. Allison Grogan, who is another one of our wonderful singers for today. You gotta keep coming, guys. Jack Henderson, who's been a member of Jepson Corps. Molly Johnson, who's been a member of Jepson Corps. Carney Judge, who's been a member of the Jepson Student Government Association. Yasmin Karam, who's been a member of Jepson Corps, was also a member of the Ethics Bowl team and is also a finale singer today. Joseph Kilgallen, who is one of our finale singers and the mastermind who put this group together. Benjamin Cornegay, who's a member of Jepson Corps. Grant Lawler, who is a multiple-year member of the Jepson Student Government Association. Now you might have to start to curve a little bit. What do you think? This is their last team building activity. Lindsay Palmisano, who was a member of our Ethics Bowl team. Annette Schifflin, who is a Jepson Corps member. Lindsay Schneider, who is a member of our Ethics Bowl team. Matt Zaluga, who's a member of Jepson Corps. Arthur Tarty, who's a member of Jepson Corps. Brandon Waller, who's a member of Jepson Corps. And Joshua Young, who is a multiple-year member of the Jepson Student Government Association and one of our finale singers today. They just barely fit when they... So I'd like to thank all of you on behalf of the Jepson School for the many ways in which you've served, whether it's been through student government, whether it's been representing us with all of our incoming prospective students, and or helping select new Jepson faculty members, and for the wonderful performance we'll have later today and representing us at Ethics Bowl. So a round of applause for our student leaders. If you want, you could split and go 2 different ways. All right. All right. So as they are leaving the stage, I'm going to be inviting up Dr. Crystal Hoyt, Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, who has a number of other students that we'd like to recognize here today. She's going to have to wait a minute to be able to get on the stage, though.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is one of my favorite days of the year. I tell my students that, and a lot of you out there know it and have heard, and I say, I can't wait to finale. It's so exciting, and it's my pleasure this year to recognize honors in Jepson. So first of all, I'm going to recognize the Honor Society. The Jepson School of Leadership Studies Honor Society recognizes academic achievement in leadership studies, and to be eligible for membership, a student must be a major in the top 10% of the class with a leadership studies GPA of 3.5 or higher and a cumulative overall GPA of at least 3.2. I would like to mention that the following 9 students, there are 9 of us this year because we're a big class, have a leadership studies, who will be in the Honor Society, have a leadership studies GPA of over 3.75. I'm going to announce these names of 9 individuals. Can you come up on this side of the stage over here, so kind of the opposite of what you just saw? And there are 9 of you, so we're going to try to move quickly. First, I'd like to bring Trace Baker to the stage. I was looking for Trace, I hadn't seen him. Is Trace around? No. Well, all right, Trace. Well, not going to get the swag. No, he will. We will give him the cord, promise. Okay, next I'd like to invite to the stage Liang Yun Cheng. No need to run. Do that. Congratulations, Liang Yun. Next, I'd like to invite to the stage Chelsea Davidson. These lovely cords will be worn tomorrow. Very exciting. The next person I'd like to invite to the stage is Ryan Foster. Coming up to the stage. Congratulations. Thanks. And I'd like to invite Haley Gray Hain to the stage next. Congratulations, Haley. And will Danny Heifetz come on down? So we're going to need a little intermission here because Danny's upstairs, so he's running on down. So you got any jokes off the top, Kirsten? I can tell stories about Danny. We can tell some stories about Danny. That's kind of not fair. That's kind of not fair. This is kind of fun. Wasn't expecting this. Look at the crowd out here tonight. Woo, woohoo! Here he comes. You get some other award for that was quick. That was very impressive. Congratulations, Danny. There you go. All right. Next, can Megan Hill come on down to the stage? There she is. Our 8th inductee is Marissa Manzi. Congratulations. And last but absolutely not least, just congratulations, August Oberbeck. I see. All right, we got our second one upstairs. I was looking for August. This is kind of fun. I'm liking this. It's a good problem to have. I don't know that we've ever been up there with so many people. We're not going to tell stories about August. Stop asking. We could, but we won't.
But we'll see who gets down faster than Danny.
Oh, there's a competition. Yeah, who is quicker, August or Danny? Oh, I don't know. It's close. All right, congratulations, August. There you go. Join me in congratulating all 9 of them. And now we will move, continuing with honors, what we're going to recognize honors in leadership studies, which signifies successful completion of the honors track by a major with proven academic record and scholarly drive. Students who earn honors in leadership studies develop a research project on a question in the study of leadership, spend a full academic year working on this project with a faculty member in Jepson, and write an honors thesis. You saw actually a number of them in the video. That was such a fabulous video. So you've heard a little bit about their research already. We actually have the biggest class of honors students that we've had in the past decade. There's 8 of them. So I'm going to invite the students to come on down. This time, I think it's just easier if you come on down. You can enter the stage at whatever side you want to enter. Let's just make it easier. Learning here, learning. Okay, so first, AJ Acamando, come on down. I thought we were looking for, is AJ up there? He was the only one that I'm not sure he's here. I don't think he's here. All right, well, let me tell you a little bit about his research anyways. His honors thesis was entitled Assessments of Potential Leaders, the Impact of Socioeconomic Status on Leadership Perceptions. And his honors thesis advisor was Dr. Al Goethals. Please join me in congratulating AJ. Okay. Our next honors thesis student I'd like to recognize is Amy Alexander. Amy's thesis is entitled Thanks But No Tanks, a look at charitable giving and marine mammal parks. And her honors thesis advisor was Dr. Haley Harwell. Congratulations, Amy. By the way, we're giving them lovely pen sets if you're wondering what's in that little special box they're getting. Next person I'd like to invite down is Elizabeth Bodowski. Elizabeth did an honors thesis entitled ADHD and the Dark Side of Leadership. And her thesis advisor was me. All right. Ryan Foster, can you come on down again? Ryan conducted an honors thesis entitled A University's Moral Compass, Improving Honor Codes and Academic Integrity. And his honors thesis advisor was Dr. Jess Flanagan. All right. I'd like to invite Haley Gray Hain to the stage. Her honors thesis was entitled A Preliminary Communication-Based Theory of Leadership, with her thesis advisor, Dr. Kristen Bazayo. Next, I'd like to ask Annette Schifflin to come to the stage. Annette's thesis is entitled The Effect of Implicit Person Theories and Gender on Academic Engagement. And I was also her thesis advisor. Yeah. Congratulations. The seventh person I'd like to invite to the stage is Virla Verhey. And I know, there she is, I know. Virla's honors thesis is entitled Gender and Leadership in Non- and For-Profits, Examining the Wage Gap in Crisis Situations. And I was her honors thesis advisor as well. Congratulations. And finally, I would like to invite to the stage Alana Wilginen. Alana's thesis was entitled Macbetha, and her honors thesis advisor was Dr. Kristen Bazayo. All right, at this time, I'd like to invite Dean Peart back to the stage.
It's now my pleasure to announce and give 2 additional awards that the school offers. The first is entitled the Frederick M. Jablin Award for Undergraduate Research. This award is given in honor of Dr. Fred Jablin, beloved professor at the Jepson School of Leadership Studies and scholar in the school, who had a passion for research and delighted in working with young scholars to foster this enthusiasm in them. The 2016-17 Jablin Award recipient is Annette Schifflin. Stand here. I'm going to embarrass Annette a little bit more. So. According to her honors thesis, thesis advisor, Dr. Crystal Hoyt, Annette loves the life of the mind. She's one of the most curious, positive, and encouraging people. All of you who know Annette might agree with Dr. Hoyt, who also notes that Annette is a ray of sunshine. After taking leadership in the social sciences during her first year, Annette joined Dr. Hoyt's lab. Today, she is a co-author of Dr. Hoyt's on a peer-reviewed article that is in press for their work on looking at wealth inequality and activism. In Annette's honors thesis, she's interested in promoting academic achievements, particularly among women in domains where they're underrepresented. She conducted an experiment where she gave some people a message promoting a growth mindset about the nature of people, how they can grow and change. And then she saw that this mindset worked to decrease the belief that certain academic fields are only for brilliant people. And in turn, she worked to increase people's interest and efficacy in the field. Annette is very interested then in the role of mindsets and the powerful role that they play in our lives. Her research in this area shows how important it is to believe that we can actually develop our abilities, how that feeds into hard work, persistence, and critically learning from, as opposed to running away from, failure. Please join me in congratulating Annette. It's now my pleasure to announce the James McGregor Burns Award. This award, established in 1994 by Mr. and Mrs. Robert S. Jepson, is presented to a graduating senior in recognition of accomplishments of that student in the Jepson School of Leadership Studies. The winner of this award has demonstrated an outstanding grasp of the body of knowledge associated with leadership studies, excelled in his or her studies at the university generally, been actively involved in service at the university, shown an ability to generalize and apply leadership theory and research in unique and imaginative ways, and displayed the capacity both to lead others and help others lead themselves. One of our Jepson faculty indicated that this year's James McGregor Burns Award recipient is unlike any other student she has ever had, and one of the strongest students ever as well. This student has been known to follow faculty back into their offices after class to ask questions and delve more deeply into course and disciplinary material. Though this individual was somewhat tentative about the humanities at first, they came to really appreciate the humanities, loving the ethics course, and that's a feat, I will tell you. Growing immensely as a scholar through Jepson's interdisciplinary approach. Simultaneously, the award winner completed a dual degree, earning another degree through one of the other undergraduate schools at the university, to be unnamed. This year's Burns recipient has participated in at least 4 course projects that serve small and large businesses in the city of Richmond, conducted research in one undergraduate school related to their marketing, so that would be a tip-off as to the other school, conducted research in Jepson in conjunction with a faculty member. Outside the classroom, this person participated in the SEEDS project, service trip over spring break, served as a member of the residence life staff for 3 years, represented the university at a national competition twice, regularly represented the Jepson School at the university admissions events, and assisted with 2 Jepson faculty searches, which were very successful, I might add. The 2017 James McGregor Burns Award recipient is a student who has gone out of her way to contribute significantly both inside and outside the classroom. It's my very great pleasure to announce the James McGregor Burns Award to Yang Yun Chen. Now Chelsea Davidson, President of JSGA, will announce our speaker.
Hello, friends. Thanks so much for bringing your family today to celebrate. I know a lot of you are probably very sick of hearing my voice after this year of my dictatorship, presidency. But joke's on you, because you're stuck hearing me tomorrow too, so get used to it. Frankly, I thought about just recycling a lot of material and awkward jokes from the last one of these bad boys, just to see if you guys have been paying attention. But fortunately, enough has happened since senior banquet to kill a few minutes, so here are a few highlights. 8 of you completed honors theses and presented at symposium on everything from Macbeth to ADHD to honor codes to the gender wage gap. Almost all of you thought that you would die somewhere along the thesis process, and unless I'm missing some urgent news, none of you did, so congratulations on that. All of you collectively consumed a record-breaking number of beverages at senior banquet, severely cutting into my Chipotle budget. I consequently ran out of Chipotle within 11 minutes at Spring Fling, leaving Dr. Hidalgo and Dr. Flanagan's entire family destitute without a meal, and severely disappointing Jeppe von Platz of Denmark, who was to be their guest. I say Jeppe von Platz of Denmark as if he's a foreign dignitary, but really he's just another philosophy professor who's just as into Bernie Sanders as I am. Dr. Hader tortured 16 of us by giving us the world's worst open book, open note final, take-home final possible, which personally took me 16 hours to complete. Ivana did it in 5, whatever, Ivana. Originally, he's still acting like he did us a favor somehow, which I don't understand. Originally, I felt guilty because he was taking 23 of us out to lunch, but afterwards I was like, heck yeah, you're buying me a quesadilla after that. For those of us enrolled in Hader's elective, the title of which I still don't know and I'm not sure if he knows, turning in a 12 to 17 page single-space final marked the last academic act of our college careers. The combination of sweet victory and bitter loss of these past few weeks has affected most of us in different ways. But when I think of how our class has transformed over the past 4 years at Jepson, I'm filled with such immense pride. I have known so many of you since freshman year, and to see what you have done and where you're going fills me with such happiness. Joe Hahn, who was responsible for giving me the nickname Chelpo, short for Chel Poop, as fate would have it, after a group bowling date that went horribly wrong, is about to teach English in Spain. Haley Grayhane, who was in a theater roadmap course with me, in which we literally made a map with our bodies, may or may not be about to become the world's next biggest filmmaker. Ben Simpson, the guy who heroically saved me from an exploding beer can at my first ever college party, is about to go back to his favorite continent to work on clean energy development in Chile. Lindy Alexander, who I basically forced to become friends with me by involving her in smuggling bananas out of D-Hall, we had literally never met before, is off to Florida to work for a surgeon. There are still others of you who I'm only just starting to get to know and wish that I knew even better. But time's up, I guess. You are all far too accomplished for me to give you all the personal shout-outs that you deserve, and in a very practical way, there were only so many of you that I felt comfortable enough texting with the various questions like, what are you doing after graduation, that we all dread. But I honestly admire each and every one of you so much, and I've learned so much through your perseverance these last few years. To all of you who still haven't figured it out yet, AKA me, I've been assured by many people that that's completely fine and we'll all figure it out. This comforting trope is the only thing that's holding my psychological fabric together right now, so let's hope that it's true. During the last 4 years, though, we have each earned the skills that we need, we have proven our drive, and I am so lucky to count myself amongst such an awesome and accomplished class. We're about to leave Jepson, trading it in for a world who probably thinks of leadership studies as a kind of cult that doesn't know a trolley problem from an experience machine, and who probably thinks that James McGregor Burns sounds like a men's clothing line or perhaps a cologne from a retail store that as liberal arts majors we may never be able to afford. As I am entering that world alongside you, I have no advice. But my idol J.K. Rowling is probably cool enough to give us something to say, so here are a few quotes from the creator of my favorite boy wizard. On the biggest lesson of justice and civil society that we should all carry forth as we become citizens, indifference and neglect often do much more damage than outright dislike. We do not need magic to transform our world. We carry all of the power we need inside ourselves already. On the transformative power of failure, I was set free because my greatest fear had been realized, and I still had an old typewriter and a big idea. And so rock bottom became a solid foundation on which I rebuilt my life. It is impossible to live without failing at something unless you live so cautiously that you might as well have not lived at all, in which case you have failed by default. And on finding a place that means the world to you, Hogwarts, or in this case Jepson, will always be there to welcome you home. Stay connected, alumni, and remember this place is the beginning of your own fantastical novel. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of it as your president. I'm forever honored. I now have the pleasure of introducing today's speaker, someone who shares a long history with the Jepson School of Leadership Studies. Dr. Ken Ruscio served as the Dean of the Jepson School from 2002 to 2006 and is now serving as the 2016 to 17 Jepson School Leader in Residence, a program that gives students, staff, and faculty a chance to interact with a wide variety of local, state, and national leaders in both formal and informal settings. Dr. Ruscio is the president of the Virginia Foundation for Independent Colleges. Prior to assuming this role, he served as the president of his alma mater, Washington and Lee University, from 2006 until this past December. Under Dr. Ruscio's leadership, Washington and Lee completed a $542 million capital campaign, believed to be the second largest campaign of any liberal arts institution, significantly grew student financial aid and faculty salaries, enhanced both the curriculum and campus, including the renovation of the historic colonnade and the construction of the Center for Global Learning, and initiated important changes across the board for current students. At Washington and Lee, Dr. Ruscio has served as Dean of Freshmen, Assistant Professor of Politics, and Associate Dean of the Williams School of Commerce, Economics, and Politics. He is past chair of the board of the American Association of Colleges and Universities and is the author of numerous essays and the book, The Leadership Dilemma in Modern Democracy. A politics major at Washington and Lee, Dr. Ruscio earned a master's degree and a PhD from Syracuse University's Maxwell School of Citizenship and Public Affairs. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Ken Ruscio to the stage.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to follow Chelsea. I have to get Sandra's booster out of the way there. I do want to thank everyone, my friends and former colleagues on the faculty and staff, and the graduates and their families for letting me be a part of your celebration this weekend. Commencement is a big deal, especially and obviously for the graduates, and I am truly honored to be with you. But I despair about my ability to contribute in any meaningful way to what lies ahead for you, the graduates, in the next 24 hours. If my graduation experience is any guide, you will remember few details of the ceremonies and the events. You will instead have impressions, blurred images, and the emotions that arise when it dawns on you that tomorrow at this time, your student days will be relegated to that portion of your minds called memories. You sit here this afternoon among friends you have made for life. In the years to come, you will celebrate with them weddings and the birth of your children. You will share in their achievements. You will console and comfort each other during your times of loss. For although you take from Jepson many lessons learned in the classroom, you have also learned about the importance of relationships. You have had a time unlike any other you will experience in your lives, and that is because of the people you have shared it with. And while there is a certain amount of sadness in seeing it come to a close, there is also the excitement and anticipation of what lies ahead. A brief word to the parents. When you left your child here a few years ago, it was with a mixture of pride and anxiety. Today you are even more proud, but in truth, still a little anxious. Anxiety is what we as parents do best. But today and tomorrow of all days, let pride overtake whatever worries lurk within your psyche. Monday morning will come soon enough. Last month, the columnist David Brooks wrote about the difference between thick and thin institutions. He said we go through life joining various institutions. Sometimes those connections are thin ones. We belong to something because of what it provides to us, maybe a service or a benefit. Think of Costco or the local library or even Facebook. We might pay dues and receive some kind of benefit, but ultimately those institutions have little influence on who we are or what we become or on our values or beliefs. Deeper and powerful connections happen with thick institutions, maybe a church or a local community organization or a place like the Jepson School. They provide us with a perspective on life and the ambition to lead lives of meaning and consequence. My fellow political scientists like to say that institutions matter, but in truth, some matter much more than others. Several years ago, when my 6-year-old son was an aspiring Major League Baseball player, I volunteered to coach his T-ball team. In the small town of Lexington when I was on the faculty at Washington and Lee, not William and Mary. It's happened before. We had a few practices before the game, And then came opening day. As the home team, we took the field first. My assistant coaches and I carefully assigned each player his or her position and showed them where to place themselves on the field. The first batter lifted a pop-up towards the second baseman, but just over his head and out of his reach. What happened next took only a few seconds, but in my memory, it unfolds in slow motion. Our team's defensive center of gravity shifted, with the ball acting as a kind of magnetic force field. As the runner bolted to first base, then sprinted to second, then charged to third, we had reasonable shots at getting him out at every turn, except for the unfortunate fact that all of our fielders somehow ended up clustered in right field. My last memory of that day is turning to my assistant coaches and observing, in a manner perhaps not unlike our current president facing healthcare, who knew it was so complicated. The game ended eventually, not well for the home team, but it marked for me the beginning of a long and formative relationship with something called the Rockbridge Area Recreational Organization. There were other coaching assignments along the way, and then I chaired its board for a few years. I worked with a range of people in the community, most of whom were very, very different from me, either more privileged or less privileged, either more conservative or more liberal, either long-standing Southerners or transplanted ones like me. We had nothing in common except a shared love for our children and a hope for their success in life. That brought us together despite our differences. In short, RARO, as it was known, became for me one of those thick institutions in my life. And so was Jepson, once I became dean here several years ago, as I think it will be for you, the graduates. It provided a sensibility and a perspective, a way of thinking about the world, and a set of principles for how to work with others. Jepson is not just about leadership, but a particular kind of leadership. I won't pretend to define it for you, but if I had to pick out a few things that defined it for me, these are what they would be. A healthy skepticism about things in general that led to constant questioning and criticism, but a skepticism that never ventured into cynicism. A belief in the power of reason when it comes to forming opinions, and perhaps as important, when it comes to expressing those opinions. The volume or emotion of an argument is never a good measure of its quality. The fortitude to balance the courage of your convictions with the humility that comes from knowing you still have much to learn and you may be wrong. And the importance of appealing to what unites us rather than divides us. I find myself worrying a great deal about the model of leadership currently on display in our society. It is cynical rather than skeptical. It is emotional and impulsive rather than reasoned and restrained. It thrives on appeals to our differences rather than what we have in common. It privileges certitude rather than the courage of one's convictions, or at least the appearance of certitude, as if sounding sure was more important than actually being sure. It's a model of leadership that makes no gesture to what Lincoln called the better angels of our nature, but instead assumes an inherent selfishness. It doesn't lift us up, it drags us down. I recently had cause to revisit an essay by Václav Havel, the writer who resisted communist rule in Czechoslovakia and later found himself president of that country after the fall of communism. It is ironic that someone raised in a communist regime became one of the most eloquent explainers of democratic leadership. Though his words are now more than 2 decades old, they seem to me especially worth recalling today, despite the fact that they sound so out of tune, or maybe precisely because they are so at odds with what we see around us. I feel, he said, that the dominant goodwill in people needs to be stirred. People need to hear that it makes sense to behave decently or to help others, to place common interest above their own, to respect the elementary rules of human coexistence. They want to be told this publicly. Goodwill longs to be recognized and cultivated. For it to develop and have an impact, it must hear that the world does not ridicule it. He went on to say, "It is not true that a person of principle does not belong in politics. It is enough for his principles to be leavened with patience, deliberation, a sense of proportion, and an understanding of others. It is not true that only the unfeeling cynic, the vain, the brash, and the vulgar can succeed in politics. Such people, it is true, are drawn to politics, but in the end, decorum and good taste always count for more." And to sum up his approach, again in his words, "There is only one way to strive for decency, reason, responsibility, sincerity, civility, and tolerance. And that is decently, reasonably, responsibly, sincerely, civilly, and tolerantly." I worry that without a place like Jepson and without its graduates, the cynical, impulsive, divisive exercise of power so in vogue right now will prevail at great cost to our democracy. Those young people, enamored with the political patterns of our moment, are precisely those who should not be drawn to democratic leadership. Those put off by the behavior we are seeing are precisely those who should seek leadership. Jepson graduates have always faced headwinds. Those are blowing like a gale force at the moment. If ever a place like Jepson was needed, it is now more than ever. If ever we needed future leaders like you, it is now more than ever. So wear your Jepson credentials with pride, but also with a sense of obligation. Forever, you will be known as graduates of the Jepson School. But along with that distinction comes a responsibility. We are depending on you. Congratulations. I know the faculty and the staff and the administration join me in wishes for your continued success in life. Have fun tomorrow.
Here's a cough drop.
Shenandoah, I long to see you and hear your roaring river. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you. We're bound away across the wide Missouri. I long to see your your smiling valley, and hear your rolling river. I long to see your smiling valley, we're bound away across the wide Missouri.
'Tis 7 long years since last I see you, and hear your rolling river. 'Tis 7 long years since last I see you, bound away across the wide Shenandoah, I long to see you, and hear your rolling river. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you, we're bound away across the wide Missouri. Oh, Shenandoah, oh, Shenandoah, oh, Shenandoah, oh, Shenandoah, Shenandoah.
Talk about a hard act to follow. But I don't have much left. So I'd like you to join me in thanking Joe Kilgallen for organizing that beautiful music. The singers included Ryan Foster, Ali Grogan, Yasmin Karam, and Josh Young. Thanks so much. This concludes our program. Now I'd like to invite you to join us in a reception that is in the building just to the left as you exit from the auditorium. Please be sure to pick up the insert as you depart from our program. And then, as I say, turn to the left and you can talk to the faculty and introduce students. You can introduce the faculty whom you love so much to your parents and your siblings and so on. Thanks so much and congratulations.